Dr. Carol Francis, our next emotion to navigate is not usually considered an emotion, but it actually is, and that's that sensation of being lost. I just feel lost. You know, we feel lost when we've lost something and we don't know quite how to navigate without it, you know. We feel lost when we go into a new situation and we're unfamiliar with how we're going to act or what we're supposed to do. Or we feel lost when there's something that's happened that's changed everything, and now we're going through this transition. We don't know what to do, and we definitely feel lost when we have escaped from abuse and trauma, because we have not been in a situation potentially that was that traumatic, and that's totally disorganized us. Or here's number two, is that we've been so immersed in living with the abuse and the trauma that we now feel lost, not knowing what to do without it. We don't know who we are. And that feeling of not knowing who we are, and not knowing who others are, not knowing what we're even feeling or what we're even thinking or what's going on inside. We don't know who we are. That's lost, right? We become lost when we become orphans. Parents die of whatever at a young age, when we're young or at an old age. Regardless, there's that feeling of, I'm an orphan. You feel lost because you don't have the previous anchors available for you. I notice that while I'm talking about it, I'm going like this, kind of that cringe of, gee, and I have to go inside myself. I feel like I'm lost. I don't know which way to go. I mean, just imagine if you're in the middle of an ocean, you're sailing a boat and you don't really know how to sail, you don't know how to catch the wind, and your motor's down. And you also don't know which way land is. You're really lost. Whichever way you go might be wrong, and you might not even know how to keep the course. Just lost. And I think that's one primary reason why I wanted to do this course, is that when I work with individuals who are recovering from abuse and trauma, I don't want people to feel completely lost, because you are. I mean, you've never gone through recovery before. You don't even know who you're going to be at the end of recovery. You don't even know if you're going to recover. I'm telling you that you can. I'm telling you that you will. I'm giving you tools so you can do so. I'm telling you that there's so many paths for you to take, and to take a path. I'm giving you hundreds and hundreds of different paths to take, knowing that they lead to recovery if you follow through on them. Do I know exactly which path is going to be optimal for you, which one's going to get you there sooner? Well, I could do a whole lot better job if I was working with you in psychotherapy, one-on-one, face-to-face, or even one-on-one online. I could do a so much better job helping you on your path so you wouldn't be so lost. But since I don't get that opportunity on these courses, I'm trying to give you as much information as I can so that you can sit there and say, okay, well, I don't know completely, but I'm not so lost, I'm going to hold on to that. And so a little bit you feel rooted, and a little bit you feel anchored. A little bit you feel like, okay, I can see the North Star and I can navigate my boat with the North Star, or I've got my compass, it's working again. Yeah. To not have your own emotions giving you the same information you're accustomed to, or your own thoughts being as discerning and as clear, or your own confidence in the way reality works and the way things should go, and your own ability to control situations when things don't go. When all of that is obliterated or messed with or somehow compromised, you're lost. You don't know which way to go. You don't know what's up or down, and you don't have much confidence as to being able to make the right decision, do the right things that are going to get you in the right place that you want to be in. And that's a horrible experience, and that is an emotion. And navigating your way with those experiences of lostness requires something similar to fear, and that is to create an answer. I'm lost. I'm really lost. To the degree that you can just stay there emotionally and not create a whole bunch of torment and torture around that, to the degree that you can feel lost and just feel it, go, I'm lost right now, aren't I? An interview that I had with an individual, Cindy Warren, talked about being able to use all sorts of different tools in yoga to be able to navigate your way through life. And I actually am attaching one of the bonus videos or interviews to this navigating of emotions. That will be the interview with Cindy Warren. I think that her approach is very helpful. She's also working on a yogic program as I speak that's related to navigating your way through abuse and trauma. And I'm looking very forward to being able to share that with you as soon as she's able to move that into a manifested way of sharing that with you. And I'm very excited about that for you. Why? Because she will give more tools of helping people when they're feeling lost. And one of the tools she gave on that interview that you'll listen to is she said sometimes you just sit and you become an observer of your own experience. What'd she call that? The Dharana. I'm probably not saying that right. What a beautiful idea. To sit and just be the observer of your own experience of you. I do that in some of the meditations, and definitely will do the meditations related to navigating your emotions associated with that, to just be an observer of your own space. So when you're an observer of your own lostness, to just be in lostness and not try to stir up a lot of anxiety, anger, fear, or to reach prematurely out to some sort of solution to feel like you're anchored. Because, truly when you feel like you're drowning, you reach for something to make sure you don't drown. And that feeling of being lost can feel like that. But if you can just for a moment not worry that you're going to drown and just go, wow, I'm lost. I don't have a clue which way to go and where to turn. Wow. And then I would have you go into pranayama, which would be the breathing process, because that's very, very helpful. And a lot of mindfulness and meditations related to breathing. A lot of the meditations and guided imagery I will give you in this section is about being able to take breath. Managing panic attack is all associated to being able to take breaths in terms of answering yourself in that fear. And in the lostness, it's the same way. Inhale the lostness, hold the lostness, and kind of slowly blow it out. I feel lost. So that tolerance of being able to have very unpleasant and uncomfortable emotions without having to act on them, or to respond too quickly or prematurely jump up and do something, is equally as important as being able to answer. Remember I said with fear you want to come up with an answer. With anger you want to navigate and be discerning. With love, there's this ability to listen and watch and be aware, because emotions are the spice of life. They're reactive, they're responsive. They don't necessarily get everything, and they can respond without there being any external situational reality to why you feel what you feel. You just feel it, and it may not be even a little bit related to reality, but it's nonetheless an internal experience. And it is these strong negative feelings become predominant internally. They shout at you. They're eclipsed. Everything else that you hear, you feel lostness. But you could also feel love and anger and fear and connection, and But in this moment, you feel lostness because it's the bigger of the feelings. But you could also feel all of these as well. They are there as well. So emotions that are strong can eclipse the very things that do exist inside you. So being able to be this observer and feel lost is also a way of finding yourself, because you are, oh, there I am, I'm feeling lost. It's like, oh, I don't like that I'm experiencing lostness, but at least I know that I'm lost. I am here in my lostness. And there's a little bit of comfort in being able to just spot yourself in that place. Now, when we talk about thoughts and discernment and imagination, the using of your mind in one of the following courses, you'll begin to realize that you can answer with the use of that and your body's beautiful mechanisms and the emotions to be able to say, oh, this is a rich experience as opposed to a horrible experience. You'll be able to answer that sense of lostness saying, oh, wow, this is one of the experiences of life, isn't it? Oh, wow, this is one of those experiences to being confused after being abused and traumatized. As I'm lost as to how to get myself out of this mess and how to get back on course. And I'm lost, and there I am. I'm found in my lostness. And to know to answer yourself is a great thing, but also just to find yourself there and then take a deep breath in. Oh, there I am. And to not take it as seriously as you might something else. These are to be experienced but not taken seriously. They're to help you realize there's something going on, but they're not the whole package of information. They're not the whole GPS of your life. In my book, Own Your Peace, KISS Method of Inner Peaceful Living, I do recommend it. I do have a section in there, and I'll put the link there on this course, that talks about being able to consider the GPSs of life. And all of us are kind of made to have a different combination of things that guide us. Some of us are more guided by our emotions. Some are more guided by thought. Some are more guided by the way they were raised. Some are more guided by social mores. Some are more guided by creativity. I mean, we all kind of like have these predominant compasses or GPS systems that kind of are the predominant one, but we have to be careful, because if we only rely on one, it eclipses all the rest of these really valuable GPS systems that we also have. So that when we're lost, just know that there are the guidance system, and the fact that you even found this website, this course, or maybe you're engaged in psychotherapy, or maybe you're part of a recovery group, or maybe it's part of the Facebook group that you found, whatever it is, you pursued this enough to try to find paths so you could recover. And so now what I'm doing in this moment is I'm taking your lostness and I'm answering it with saying, I know you feel lost, but you found this, and this has directions in it. This has GPS, this has information, and with the powers of discernment, imagination, thought, experience. Lostness can partner with, there's a possible step for us to take. Now maybe you're in the fog of everything and you can't even drive 2 feet without bumping into a cloud. You don't even know as you're walking what you can't see. You can only see the 2 feet ahead of you. And so sometimes that is a beautiful saying where, you may not know where you're going, but you can see 2 feet ahead of you. And that's also an answer to your sense of lostness. I'm lost. I can find 2 feet ahead of me. I can go to that program. I can go to that book. I can go to that connection. Now the thing is, though, I don't want you to go there so fast that you don't also just experience, that you can metabolize and process the feelings. And I'm introducing that ability to metabolize, process, and hang out with your emotions without reacting on this lostness after talking about love and anger and fear and panic, because you also can sit with those. But they're so strong and so eclipsing, whereas lostness has this way of just kind of suspending and then going into panic, or suspending and then going into some sort of self-realization. I feel lost as a self-reflection. So this is the time for me to say, can you sit with your feelings without necessarily always going to remedy, so that you can kind of have this dance and dialogue with your emotions? And this would be an additional way to navigate all emotions. And I'm just introducing it as one way to deal with that sensation of lostness. Okay. In our next class, we're going to talk about depression and sadness. See you there.